I want to start with the most secret thing you do. You pray for him. Maybe you've never said that out loud. It feels almost embarrassing after all these years. Late at night, in the quiet after everyone else is asleep, you've described him to God. You've named the qualities. You've asked with more faith some nights than others. And underneath those prayers sits a fear you've never told a soul. What if I'm doing this alone? What if I'm on my knees, asking God for a man who isn't asking for me? Hear me tonight. You have never prayed alone. And there's something I want you to see before I say anything else. Somewhere, there is a prayer with no face attached to it. A man has been asking God for years, in private, for qualities, for depth, for a peace he could feel but couldn't picture, for a kind of woman he could not even name. A whole list of longings, and not one face on any of it. And what God does in his own time is begin drawing a face over that prayer, slowly, quietly, yours. That's the thing I most want you to understand tonight, because the question was never only whether someone is praying back, it's whether he will ever know it's you. And here is the truth the whole message turns on. God does not show a man his wife by bypassing his prayers. He shows her to him through them. A man doesn't recognize the woman who is his out of nowhere. No voice from the sky. No lightning bolt. He recognizes her through the very things God taught him to ask for in secret. So let me say it as plainly as I can, because it's the sentence everything else hangs on. The prayer becomes recognition. The asking he did in the dark becomes the way he knows you in the light. And here is what I need you to hear about that prayer with no face. You are the person those longings have been describing. Every quality he named to God in secret, you've been carrying it this whole time, in a city he hasn't walked into yet, living a life he hasn't seen. He was describing you before he ever met you. And the face God is drawing over his prayer, line by line, is yours, which means the recognition isn't waiting to begin, it has already begun. And let me tell you immediately what that does and doesn't mean, because I love you too much to let it twist into pain. It does not mean a specific man has a date on the calendar or a ring in his pocket. It means God has begun the work turning the prayers that man prayed in secret into the way he'll one day know your face. The recognition lives in the quiet work God is doing right now, not in anything you're supposed to be able to see yet. That's what's happening on a side of the wall you cannot see over. And here is the verse underneath all of it, for the fear that you've been praying into a sky that doesn't answer. Isaiah 65:24. Before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking, I will hear. The silence was never God not listening. It was God already answering, already teaching a man to pray the prayers that would one day make him look at you and know, all the way down, this is what I asked God for. So here is what I want to walk you through. 5 prayers a man prays for the woman who is his, and how God turns each one into recognition. And here is the part that is going to settle somewhere deep in your chest. For every single prayer he prayed, you are what he was asking for. The first prayer is for a woman whose faith is real, not a performance. Not a faith she carries to church and sets down at the door when she walks out. He asked God for a woman whose faith is quiet and costly, one that holds in the dark, one that prays when there is nothing to show for it. Think of the quietest, realest part of your faith. The part that no one sees. The prayer you prayed again last night, even when you weren't sure anything was on the other end. Hold that, because somewhere a man asked God for exactly that, and when he meets it in you, something in him is going to settle. Not because you performed it, because it was real. And Psalm 20:4 says, He grants the prayers of the righteous according to their heart, which means that man's prayer for a woman of real faith was already heard, long before the two of you were in the same room. The second prayer is for a woman whose character holds when life is hard. He didn't just ask for someone beautiful or easy to be around. He asked for someone who doesn't collapse when the ground shifts. Someone whose peace isn't borrowed from her circumstances. You may not have thought of your steadiness as something someone prayed for, but Proverbs 10:24 says, "The desire of the righteous will be granted." And the man God is bringing toward you asked for someone whose inner life is stronger than her hardest season. That's not a trophy. That's a woman God has been building in private, through every hard thing she didn't ask for, through everything that felt like too much. The third prayer is for a woman he can be known by. This one is tender, so stay with me. He asked God not just for someone he would love, but for someone who could actually see him, who he wouldn't have to perform around, who he could stop explaining himself to. Matthew 7:7 says, "Ask, and it will be given. Seek, and you will find." He has been seeking. And what he's seeking, without knowing her name or her face yet, is a woman who makes him feel less like a stranger in his own life. Think about the depth you carry, the way you listen, the way you see people underneath what they present. That's not coincidence. That was being prepared for a man who asked God for exactly that. The fourth prayer, and this is the one that tends to find people in the chest, is for a woman who is genuinely herself, not performing, not shrinking, not contorting herself to be wanted. He asked for a woman who knows who she is and doesn't negotiate it away. 1 John 5:14 tells us that when we ask according to his will, he hears us. And what God wills for this man is a woman who doesn't lose herself in the hoping, a woman who is already whole before he arrives. Which means every season you spent learning who you are, every moment you chose not to dissolve into someone else's vision of you, was not wasted time. It was the answer being formed. And if this is the one that found you, if you know what it is to long to be truly known and wonder if anyone could ever be asking for that, stay with me to the end. Because knowing you're the answer for one night is one thing. Still knowing it on Tuesday, when the old voice tells you you're invisible again, is another. And that's the part no one prepares you for. Because here's what I need you to hold as we go. He won't recognize you out of nowhere. He'll recognize you through everything he already asked God for. The prayer becomes recognition. Every quality on that list becomes a way of knowing your face. The fifth prayer is for a woman who is ready. Not perfect ready. There's a difference, and it matters. He asked God for someone who has walked with him long enough to know the difference between what she wants and what she needs. Someone whose waiting produced wisdom, not just longing. Psalm 145:19 says, "He fulfills the desire of those who fear him." That word fear is not dread, it's reverence. It's a life that has learned to trust God even when the timeline made no sense. That is the woman he's been praying for. And that season, you've been living in the one that has felt like delay has been producing exactly her. And maybe that's exactly where this finds you tired. Maybe you've prayed so long that you stopped believing anyone was praying back. Maybe you stopped praying altogether because asking into what felt like silence got too heavy to keep carrying. If that's you, hear me gently, because this part is for you specifically. The silence was never God refusing to hear. Psalm 38:9 says, "My sighing is not hidden from you, not the prayers you prayed with strong faith, the sighs, the ones with no words, the ones you gave up on. He kept every one. And in all those years, it felt the most like you were praying alone. He was already teaching a man the prayers that would one day make him recognize you. You were never praying into a void. The prayer was becoming recognition the whole time. You just couldn't see the work yet. Now I need to say something else, because I love you too much to skip it. If you've taken everything I've said and quietly assigned it to one particular man, decided in your heart that it's him, he's the one praying, he just hasn't said it yet, slow down. This is how God turns prayer into recognition. It is not a confirmation of a specific face you've already chosen. A man God is genuinely moving toward you becomes visible. The recognition shows. He moves closer. A recognition that stays invisible and silent forever is not what I'm describing. Let God turn the prayer into recognition in His time. Don't hand that job to a man who isn't doing it. And before I go on, one more thing, because some of you are already turning this into a list of ways you fall short. Do not turn this into a performance. Do not hear, "He's been praying for a woman like this," and start thinking you have to become flawless to be worth a man's prayer. The faith He'll recognize is your real faith, not a perfect one. The woman God turns His prayer into recognition of is not a finished woman, she's a real one. You don't have to perfect yourself into being the answer. You already are the answer. That's the whole point, and I have to stop and say the one thing that matters more than this entire message. If you are not waiting and praying on your own, if you are in something right now that has control in it, or harm, or fear, please do not let this video tell you to keep praying and waiting on it. That is a different situation entirely, and it needs different help. A trusted pastor, a counselor, someone who can walk with you in person. Naming that takes more courage than any prayer of waiting. Please reach out. So let me tell you what this means for you tonight. Not for a day, I can't promise for tonight. You have been seeing yourself as the woman waiting to be noticed, waiting to be chosen, hoping that someone, someday, finally sees you. Beloved, turn that picture inside out. You are not the woman waiting to be noticed. You are the answer a man has been praying toward. Somewhere, God has been teaching a man to pray for exactly what you are. And one day, the prayers he prayed in secret are going to become the way he recognizes you. Let yourself feel how that changes the way you walk. A woman who knows she's already the answer to a prayer doesn't drag herself around hoping to be seen. She walks like a woman who's already the answer because she is. And all those prayers you prayed alone in the dark, thinking you were talking to the ceiling, they were never a monologue. They had an address. They were heard. And God, the same God, has been teaching someone else the prayers that will one day make Him know you. Remember that list of longings with no face attached? God has been drawing your face over every line of it. The prayer is becoming recognition, and the face it's becoming is yours. I won't give you a date, Anyone who does is selling something. But this is yours to keep tonight. You are not invisible. You are the answer to a prayer. And as you start to walk like a woman who knows it, a question is going to rise up that you may have never let yourself ask before. When He comes, will I be ready? Hold on to that question. It matters more than you think. If this met you tonight, let this be your declaration. I am not invisible. God knows how to make me recognized. Say it until your heart believes it. Write it until your spirit feels it. And type it in the comments. Let someone else read it tonight and know they're not alone either. Before you go, what you felt in this message, that you're not invisible, that you are the answer to a prayer, it's real. But I'll be honest with you, because I love you too much not to be. By Tuesday, the old voice creeps back. The one that says you made it up, that no one is really praying for you, that you're still invisible. Not because tonight wasn't true, but because a woman who was taught her whole life that she's invisible cannot hold the truth that she has recognized on her own for very long. It slips. And for that truth to stop slipping, to wake up still knowing who you are, that is not a feeling. It's a practice. It's called the still point. A 30-day devotional for the woman waiting on God for love. 30 days of holding on to the truth that you're the answer. Even on the mornings it tries to slip. One scripture, one reflection, one prayer for the nights you have no words left of your own, in the same voice you're hearing right now. It's the first link in the description. And it comes with the audio too, for the nights you would rather close your eyes and listen than read. Begin tonight and keep that question close, the one about being ready. You'll see why soon. You were never invisible, beloved. You were never praying alone. Walk like a woman who knows she is already someone's answer, because tonight you finally do. And if this message blessed you, remember to like, subscribe, and share so others can be strengthened by the Word of God.